Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North Knives. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be cracking on with part 2 of my kitchen axe build. Okay, let's take you in for a look at what I'm doing. Alright, so this is the template that I started with, and since last time I showed you I've been fiddling around with how I want the pins to be, and yeah, I think I got to something I'm gonna like, so I'm gonna try that out. So just now I've just been scribing marking lines, and just with like this metal scribe, and then with the automatic center punch, simply you just press down on it basically, which is harder with one hand. Okay, yeah, and then I have got other punches too, so I've hammered them out a little bit just to make them a little bit larger. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to drill. I'm going to put some weight relief in the handle as well. Am I? I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. But the next step will be onto the drill press and drill out some holes, and if I want to do some weight relief I'll drill out some extra bigger holes. If I decide not to, I might still put a few small holes in just to let the epoxy through on either side. But here, so I collected these the other week. I've got this relatively small jet press, but drill press, pillar drill in England, but it's still hopefully going to be better than this that I started with, which I actually got off eBay for 25 quid. And also picked up this beast. So the idea being, I still need to sort out space and stuff, but that I can have 3 different bits in at a time and in 3 different machines, and just use less time messing around changing bits. And also this chuck's not very good, so I want to change it, but I didn't want to change it while I didn't have a spare drill press. So yeah, that's that. I haven't tried the other 2 machines, so I'm probably going to spend a bit of time just making sure they're set up correctly, and then yeah, see how we get on. Important step before you start any drilling is to choose your pin stock, and I haven't chosen the handle material. Most of the time I like to choose the handle material and the pin stock at the same time, but I'm just going to go with the steel, fairly plain. I'm going to do a lanyard tube in case they want to tie it up, and you know, something a bit different. So I've just been fiddling around, but yeah, the best thing, I found 2 lanyard tube and a fatter one that's solid, and they're both 6mm, and then a 4mm one for the smaller pins. So I'm happy with that. So I need 2 drill bits, and I'm going to use a countersink on the other one just to clean up the any burrs on the edges and stuff. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. So I'll get started. What I meant to say was, so I actually haven't heard any other knife makers say this on any videos about choosing their drill bits, and I'm not sure why. I know a lot of knife makers use micarta and other synthetic materials which maybe don't have this issue, which I've found with wood every single time. And that is, so this is 6mm, and I'm going to grab a 6mm bit, and even if I measure them, the 6mm bit actually is coming out a little bit under, but even if they match up exactly, I find that when I drill the holes and then you go and try and put this through, it's almost impossible, and you're hammering and it's just not good. It's not. I've snapped bits of wood doing it. When you're trying to get the pin out, you end up like maybe using some pliers or something, but then you put little scratches and dings in the material, which might show up, and also makes it harder to get in and out again. So initially I spent hours sanding the pins down to reduce the size to the hole, which works, but it's a bit inconsistent. It can be inconsistent, and it takes forever. And I've got my glasses, I'm not gonna see. Anyway, much better idea if you can get them to 5.1. 4.1, great. So for this one, 4mm, I'm just going to get the 4.1mm bit, and it's going to be perfect and super easy. I think the bit was maybe £3 or £4 for each one, and you know, it saved me hours and hours and hours so far. So yeah, that's my advice. Okay, so I've got these drill presses, or pillar drills, whatever you want to call them. So fairly well, not perfect. I think a little fine tuning might be needed on speeds and kind of isn't perfectly aligned, but good enough. This one's got 6.1. I put 4.1 in here, and I put the countersink in here. So I'm ready to drill my main holes. So that's gone nicely. I've drilled them all out to 4.1mm first. This one actually had a light, this drill press, and it was working when I got it home. No, it's not, so I'll have to have a look at that. Anyway, so next step, I'm gonna go up to the 6mm and drill 6.1mm, drill these two holes. So I got my pinholes drilled, and I'm happy. I'm just making some more marks for weight relief. The knife is balanced just about where I think I want it to be at the moment. I'm going to be removing material from this end and adding material to this end. So I'm going to remove more material from this end so that it's weighted more that way at first. So here we go. I've got the biggest bit I've got is this 19mm bit, so I'm going to remove those 3 holes and then see where we're at. Now we have this, something resembling a Swiss cheese. So the balance has changed, but it's still front. It's still not that far, forward. Not as further forward as I thought it would go. So I still think this knife is going to come out handle heavy. But yeah, I've never made one before. So once you've been doing the same design a few times, you get a sense of how to balance a knife. So yeah, this one's just complete guesswork really, and I'll do my best to balance it. I've just been cleaning the blade, getting all that I can of the blue layout fluid off with some rubbing alcohol, getting ready for the next step excuse me, which is going to be wrapping it in the foil, my heat treatment foil. So I'll get the foil ready, and then I will just give this one last rub down, and then I won't touch it with my hands to stop getting any grease from your skin on it, so it's nice and clean when it goes into the foil. Yeah, so basically I'm preparing for a sort of normalising strain relief cycle in the kiln, preparing the blade for heat treatment, or hardening. So I've cut out my foil, I've given my blade the final clean down, and now I'm going to wrap it. I do 2 folds on every wrap, so it's just going to be folded this way, and then I'll fold over the ends twice, I'll fold over the top twice, and hopefully make an airtight seal. And I'm going to be using my gloves the whole time because the cuts off this stuff is, you can get a really nasty cut off this foil. So we end up with something like this, a foil parcel with your knife in, ready for heat treatment. I have experimented doing this without foil for this step, the normalising step, but I'm going to try with foil this time and see how that goes. Just going to check my fitment into the kiln before I get it hot, and we've got a lovely fit. I want to shoot for 59 to 60 HRC on this one. If it's a bit below or a bit harder, like 58 or 61, that's fine, but yeah, I'm basically aiming for 59 and a half, 60, something like that. So let's see how we get on. So this is step 1 for my whole heat treatment process, and this is the normalising step. I have tried other ways that have been successful. I've tried this way and it's been successful. I'm going to do it again. There we go. Program review. Okay, so that's just saying it's program on ramp full to 860 degrees for 15 minutes. That's just to get the kiln nice and warm through. Then ramp 2, 860 for 10 minutes. That will be when the blade's in. So let's review it again. So there's no blade in at the moment. It's going to get up to 860. Hold for 15 minutes. Just at the end of that 15 minutes I'll put the blade in. Then it's going to ramp to 860 again because that'll cool it down a little bit. And so it'll ramp back up to 860, and once it's hit that temperature it'll hold for 10 minutes. And I think last time I let it cool in the kiln, but this time I'm gonna pull it out the kiln, just let it cool in air. So it is stainless steel, it is gonna harden, not completely, but that should be fine. And then it should be nice and ready for the next step. So unfortunately the kiln has just had a meltdown and it's just staying at that temperature. It's not telling me how long I've left anymore, but I'd only had 2 minutes left to go, so I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to put it in that air. Cool. So here it is, cooling. The coils didn't even turn off when I opened the lid, so I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully nothing serious. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry it's been a really slow day today. It's the first day back at work after Solfest and I am still a bit brain dead. Yeah, so it's all cooling. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the kiln. It was just a little freak out. So I'm pretty happy because I put in 2 minutes early and it did get to 8 minutes before it freaked out, so I'm happy it had its like 10-minute soak at around about 860. So the next step will be the hardening cycle and then quenching, and then I don't do a proper cryo like deep freezing, but I will put it in the freezer, my home freezer, overnight, and then the next day we'll be tempering. I'll probably temper it twice at 190 degrees in the oven and see where we're at with our hardness. If it's too hard I can continue to temper it down. If it's softer than I wanted, that's just the way it is, or if it's extremely too soft I'll start again. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, join me for part 3. Take care everyone, bye bye.